We had some questions over here also. Yes.
Back to the IPNDP standard. Which type is which measurement verification type is mainly used in the different countries in the project?
It's public buildings. It's mostly option C.
Yeah.
So that's the whole building facility.
Yeah.
So we work with main meters. That's 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
In the like for example the SME sector, where there's more individual projects, for example a heat pump or one boiler replacement or a relighting project, it can be more often option A or option B. Mm-hmm. For relighting, option A, and then for example heat pumps or other installations, option B. But public sector is almost only option C.
We are working for the energy efficiency of the airport of Milan and of Rome, because there is many cost of energy spent. So the ESCO work also in this activity, also with the EPC, that is very interesting, especially for the cogeneration, trigeneration, and so and so. Quindi the field of activity of ESCO is very large.
Yeah, for us, investment is maybe even more important than the energy consumption. But I would say if you talk about energy consumption for SMEs, 100 to 150,000 is for us a minimum, mm-hmm. And in the public sector, 250 to 300,000 euros consumption is a minimum.
That's heating and electricity.
Heating and electricity, yeah. And if we look at investment in the public sector, we're talking about ideally at least €1 million of investment. And in the SME sector, 250,000 euros minimum. Because the projects are more simpler there, right? And you have less transaction costs. But in the public sector, you have more transaction costs that you have to be able to earn from the project. Mm-hmm. So that's where the investment and the consumption has to be higher in the public sector.
So my question, or I see the challenge: how do you achieve the alignment of interests of these different parties in one project?
Well, it is, a question of the transaction costs and that kind of thing, and doing deals with the subcontractors for a larger project, you can get a better price. So it's really very simple. Mm-hmm. You buy a lot, then you get better price than mm-hmm. if you buy just for one building, for instance. So that's the really simple reason. In Norway, it's the facilitator that actually makes this cooperation possible between the municipalities. So we have a lot of projects where there are 2, 3 or 4 municipalities going together and having one.
I would like also to highlight or to question one other thing is, we are talking here a lot about guaranteed savings. That means the model we have seen is guaranteed. We know exactly how much to invest. We know exactly how much we guarantee. We also have in the swissesco, we have the so-called shared savings. Shared savings, that means a company invests into a building and then gets a certain percentage of the savings achieved. You don't know exactly how much you will achieve, but you get, for example, 70% of the savings and 30% leaves with the customer. So there is full risk of the investor to that project, and he can do it then for 4 years, for example. So do you have also this kind of models in your countries?
There is no experience of that in the public sector, but I've heard about it, and it sounds like a typical PPP project, like a public-private partnership. Mm-hmm. So it's also outside the energy sector. For instance, in Poland you have private companies coming in bidding for a swimming pool, and they renovate the building, and they take the ticket money for like so and so many years. Mm-hmm. And then when the investment is paid back by the ticket money, then the swimming pool goes back to the public. Mm-hmm.